And the taxes that were collected this year, so technically by January 15th or whatever without penalty, is the last installment of money to make the debt payment on the Opera House. And that final debt payment is made next September and it's paid off. What will end up happening is the TIF goes away. The taxes don't go down. The money goes to the county, the school district, and the city based on our operating millage for general purposes, for O&M, for whatever it's allocated for. I already talked to the city council and we came to the determination, kind of like Vegas. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, what's being generated downtown will stay in downtown. But we don't intend to use the money off of our millage rate, our tax rate, for some general purpose, the fire department or the police department or recreation. It would be used for downtown Newberry. The only problem is we only represent about 20% of your tax bill. All right, we're only 20% of it. So what I met with the county administrator about was the concept of us working together. I thought the easiest way to do it is not to extend the TIF, but was for the city, the county, and I would hope the school district, because that's the bulk of the money, would sign an intergovernmental agreement, a contract. I thought the best way for transparency would be working with y'all, working with the other two taxing jurisdictions, that we would develop a list of projects, like the capital project sales tax. So it's very clear what will be funded with this money, and that money would be used, not the $1 bill you get without the Dash 99, that's the base level funding for 98, but the Dash 99 bills would be used to fund those projects. If they were major projects, you'd have to probably borrow the money, so the money would go towards the debt service, making the annual payment. If they're pay-as-you-go and are small enough, because we may be talking about $250,000 to $430,000, depending on if the school district participates or not, would be used for those projects on a pay-as-you-go basis. The county's receptive to it. And I didn't know how receptive they would be to that, but at least the administrator is, and you know, he's going to convey that to the council. And one member of county council was present at the meeting, and he's supportive of it. One of the projects that I discussed with him, and I don't know if this is a possibility, but working with the college now, the president has kind of gotten acclimated, and that's sort of been stabilized. You know, they've been in a state of flux here for the last couple of years with the change of turnover. But is there a way to make, say, the Ritz Theater a headliner, you know, project? And could the city and the college and the community players work together? And you know, I don't know if it's establishing an LLC or having some kind of agreement, but where
yes.
well, and I don't know, but you know, there was an interest on the past president, and the current president seems to be interested in it, of having more of a presence downtown. Is there a way that not only performances, but you could have daytime activity? Maybe it's the rehearsals, maybe it's some classroom activity, or you've got students downtown kind of day and night. The schedule is worked out with the community players where they continue to do their performances. And then I think the city's role would be essentially helping manage the property. And you know, there'd be some funding sources that we could tap that they would not be able to tap. You know, I don't know how many grants can be brought to bear on it. There are some low interest loan programs through the USDA that we would qualify for community facilities that could be used you know, to operate or mainly pay the debt on the facility. And you know, maybe if concessions were sold there, or there was a modest amount of income generated, it would be enough to kind of pay some of the overhead. But that was a concept that we talked about. Some other projects, but essentially that would be a source of annual funding for downtown that would be in addition to what we're doing now. And I think that's a major effort, you know. And, yeah, so I mean, I think that would go a long way. It'd just be a matter of us coming up with a list of projects and getting everybody on board, and then that's your game plan for how the money's going to be used.
Jeff, explain the tax bills again. We all got 99s and we got regulars, right?
Yeah, and what'll happen next year is you'll get a tax bill for the same amount, or you know, if it went up slightly, whatever that slight increase would be, but it'll be on one bill.
Okay, so I got two now. Which one I pay?
Which one will you pay next year?
No, now.
Now, both of them.
Both of them. So I'm paying double the tax.
No.
If you look at my bills, if you look at my bills, I am. Yeah, I mean, if you look at mine, mine, each one of them are the same amount or near as much as I paid last year.
Well, I tell you, I actually dealt with Sean on this. He sent me a scanned copy of his bills, and then I got with Donna Lominick, the auditor with the county, and it wasn't an error with the county staff or the software like it initially appeared, but for whatever reason, Smith Data that does their tax billing they actually have to manually pull duplicate bills out, and this year they didn't. So some properties downtown got this erroneous bill. It looked like they're,
But I took it down there and
And
they're
it-
like, yeah.
and it's been corrected when you go in there to pay it. They won't let you pay the double bill. And
Well,
so-
they're not gonna let me because I can't. I mean, you know, when I got property taxes on my building this year for $8,000,
Yeah. And
Just pay the 99.
And that was an
just
error.
pay the $99.
The wrong thing.
You know, I mean, it's sad when you know, $700 a month is what my property taxes cost. Something's wrong
And
there.
that's with the bill that's in error.
Well, I can't tell you that. You just told me I had to pay both of them, so I need to go up there and see where the mistake is.
No, just pay the
Some
one that
people
ends
got
in
3
99,
bills.
so it's half the
Yeah.
bill.
Yeah.
You should be, well, most property owners downtown get 2 bills. There are some examples where they don't. One
You get a
example.
property bill and a building bill.
Yeah, well, not property bill, a building bill, There's a bill for the taxable value in 1998, when the TIF was established to do the construction debt on the Opera House. That's bill number 1. Bill number 2 is the -99. That's any appreciation that's occurred downtown and what it's taxed at. That goes into a pot, it pays the construction debt on the Opera House. What happened this year, some people have gotten a 3rd bill, and that's the bill that's in error. And that's what led, for instance, Sean thought his taxes had doubled. Well, it was an error with the county. And,
They weren't gonna tell you about it though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They weren't gonna tell you about it.
Hey,
well,
hey,
actually, it was corrected. I mean, you can't go in there and actually pay it. Yeah.
well, it might have been corrected, but we didn't get any new
They
bills, you know,
sent out
we
the
didn't see any
information saying
corrections.
we messed-
So we're getting these bills and,
Yeah, that was a little freaky though.
Yeah,
They're not gonna
Double
send it out.
bill.
In the past, they sent me, they always send me the wrong
Essentially, then we
time.
really
But they'll send a
appreciate
piece of
the
paper saying,
Yeah.
all right, void this one, this one will count. But they didn't do that this year.
And I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about it until Sean, called me and I said, well, I don't know. And I looked online, I couldn't figure it out. I said, can you send me a copy of your bill? And that's when he scanned it. Or, we've even gotten out on the street and let y'all know there was a mistake. But I know everyone I've talked to, I've tried to make aware that, hey, there's a problem there. But when you actually go to the auditor's office to pay it, I mean, it's not like they will be expecting you to pay it or even allow you to pay it. It's been corrected. You just haven't gotten a notice from them telling you that, hey, there's a mistake.
and my last question, I'm not gonna say anything else, but, the money for the Bergens bill, where did that come from?
It's economic development money from the Natural Gas Authority.
Okay. And the city decided to put it there, or what, is it, I mean, could that not, not that it needs to be done, I agree with that, but I mean, I'm looking at downtown development too, and things that need to be done overall downtown.
Well, I mean, we really felt like it was important that that building be preserved, and the whole intent, I mean, I know the second floor is going in there, it's just because it's economical, but the stabilization of the walls and the roof have to be done to save the buildings.
I think part of the key would be if the city or the opera house or whoever holds the title on it, whatever tax money was spent to get it to the level that it will be available for a developer,
It's trying to recover.
I think to recover that money back, instead of saying, we're so desperate, please, Mr. or Mrs. Developer, please take this off our hands, we've put 60 grand, 100 grand out, or whatever the money is, to get it to a level where there's a brand new roof, there's a brand new second floor, to make sure we can try to get, I'm sure you as a city want to get your money back too, or the.
Well, you're not looking at 60 grand, you're looking at 500,000.
Absolutely.
That's my
And I
question.
tell you-
Well, how much is it costing just to do just to get the roof and the steel and clean up? What's that cost the city?
The cleanup with the asbestos and the hauling was like 83,000, and then, we're looking at, right now, about 250 to
Alright, it's
put
about
the roof
330.
on and put the steel in. And I need to look at that pricing, again. And we've been in a little bit of a holding pattern with the holiday. We didn't want a war zone across the street from the Christmas tree. But, so in January, they'll start working again on it. But, yeah, that would be the goal, to recover the money. And, there was a period of time there where there was no activity. And the first thing was to, there was an insurance process that was gone through by the property owners, and then trying to get control of the property so it could be handed off to somebody who could do something with it, and then trying to find somebody that would take it prior to any stabilization being done was attempted, and that wasn't. And we got to a point where something's got to be done with it
Right.
if it's going to be salvaged.